It is just so unlikely that we cannot find other photographs to disprove the photo from the private collection. If I were a conspiracy theorist, I don't know, I would think that perhaps they were systematically erased from the public record. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to be back once again with you. Today I want to touch on something that's a little bit conspiratorial. A little bit, you might think, crazy. You might wonder, why am I getting into this subject? You might think, actually, this is kind of cool. Could you continue with these conspiracy theory tinfoil hat videos? I quite enjoy them. If you do like them, let me know below. If you don't like them, also let me know. But I just found this topic fascinating. I could not let go of it. I got into a deep rabbit hole. And yes, I'm still not quite sure what to think. So before I go any further, I want to remind you, my name is Elizabeth Rogliani. I do social, political, and cultural commentary and the occasional red pill. And apparently today, a little bit of conspiracy. And again, what I'm about to get into might seem pointless to you, might seem silly, random. I do this because I have found through these last couple of years that perhaps what we have been told, what we have always been told and taught, might not always be true. What we have believed about our world, about our politics, our history, might not be exactly just as it seems. If a news story can be manipulated while it's happening and make people believe in an alternate story altogether while it's happening, as I said, couldn't they do that to our past? So let us drop our judgments, our expectations, because this minute detail in a photograph might solidify the idea that nothing is as it seems. Or maybe after you watch this, you'll end up thinking this is all silly and still move on. And that's okay too. So let's call this the 1,000-year reset. And I will be very transparent with you. After I found this photo, I did a lot of digging and I found a blog of someone else that have found this interesting and peculiar as well. So I'm using their blog post as a sort of blueprint for this video. This blog goes by the name of False History, and the post is called The Mystery of 1,000 Years Missing from Galleria Umberto. So we have two photographs from the same location of the same building from very similar, if not the same angle, but from different times. Pictured on the photos is Galleria Umberto in Naples, Italy. In both photos, you can see that it says year in Italian or Latin, and in one of the photos it says year 1890, and in the other photo it says year 890. So what are we to make of this? One of the photos must be incorrect, right? They cannot both be right unless they are. Is one of the photos doctored? That would be my first guess. But why? Why would someone doctor a photo? And if someone were to do that, obviously, it's the old photograph. Because if you go to Naples and go look at Galleria Umberto today, you will see that it says the year 1890. Obviously, the old photo is doctored. Case closed. That's it, right? Well, let's explore a little bit further. What would be the purpose of doctoring an early 1900s photograph, which allegedly belonged to a private collection that was released to a French photography website in 2013, which, by the way, is linked in the description if you're interested. The photos being wrong is pretty much the most obvious answer to the conflict. But what about another possibility? What about both photos being right, but the actual object of the photo has changed? So either 1,000 years have been added to the building, or someone really planted these photographs to drive us crazy or to make us think that the 1,000 years was added to the building. But why? I don't know. But I want to look into the idea that perhaps it was the building that changed. This might seem like the crazier idea, but it's one worth exploring. This is where my imagination ran wild, and the blogger who wrote the post, The Mystery of a Thousand Years, they went deep in research. So I commend them. They theorized that maybe there was a mistake in the original construction and they changed the year because it was built in 1890, but they mistakenly put 1890 in the original construction. However, during the time that these photographs were taken, there was no mention of such a mistake. There are also no photos on the public record of this building, of this part of the building specifically, in the early 1900s. So either no Italian or foreign photographers took a photo of the building showing that angle, showing the year it was built. No other photographer did that. Or they were somehow wiped from the public record. Wikipedia says that Galleria Umberto was built in the 1800s. Case closed, right? It says it on Wikipedia. It was built in the 1800s. Simple. But, strangely, for such an emblem of architecture, for such an emblem of Naples architecture specifically, it seems that the architect who made it possible is rather unknown. Apparently, Emanuele Rocco, who designed the structure in the late 1800s, came out of nowhere. He never designed anything before the Galleria Umberto and never designed anything after. He disappeared. Now, I don't know about you, but this strikes me as a little bit strange. This man really designed a magnificent structure as his first project and just stopped. Now, you could argue maybe he did other things, but they just didn't make it in the books of history. Possible. There is another Emanuele Rocco from the same time period who is linked in the Wikipedia entry for the architect of the Galleria Umberto. This Emanuele Rocco is listed as a philologist, as a literature professor. There is zero mention of architecture. Now, maybe this isn't the same guy. Maybe someone made a mistake linking him to the Wikipedia entry. But you'd think that if a literature professor makes it into the Wikipedia entry that this amazing architect would have his own Wikipedia page, but it seems not. Let's say that you want to find Rocco's blueprints for the Galleria. You're out of luck. Again, I realize that this is the 19th century and everything wasn't digitalized, or nothing was digitalized. But for me, it's the combination of these factors that make it suspicious. And there's more. There is also no newspaper clippings of the time announcing the opening of this grandiose building. There's nothing announcing the building of Galleria Umberto. Nothing. I mean, just a little bit sus for me, just a little bit. Let's say there was some sort of trial and the defendants had to prove that the Galleria Umberto was in fact built in the late 1800s. Let's say that that was the case. I would say that the evidence is not quite compelling. And again, you cannot find any public photographs of Galleria Umberto opening in 1890, nor any single photograph in the early 1900s showing the year it was built. All the pre-1890 images that you can find are really from different angles where you cannot quite see the building. So you cannot quite prove that it was there or not there. Now, you can dismiss these wild theories. I even hesitated to make this video in the first place. But the fact that all these photographers in the late 19th century and early 20th century took all these photographs of Naples, but none of that part of the building, is just a little bit strange. It is just so unlikely that we cannot find other photographs to disprove the photo from the private collection. If I were a conspiracy theorist, I don't know, I would think that perhaps they were systematically erased from the public record. That the only ones that they could not erase were privately held photographs. Now, I could go on and continue naming clues of why this building might not be built as they tell us today. But this video is long enough already. So, if you are curious, I suggest you check out the link below of the false history post, Mystery of a Thousand Years. And yes, probably the building was renovated in more of our modern times, but that does not mean that the building, the original building, hasn't been there since before. I also wonder, why would anyone do that? I cannot answer this question. I cannot say why. There are many theories behind it. One of which I have heard is that just as we keep hearing about the Great Reset of 2030, there might have been other resets of the past. And if that's the case for this building, they might have used the rewriting of history by using buildings, by using architecture to tell the story. This might be me sending you on a wild goose chase, or small little mistakes of the revision of history that point to a story hidden from us. Hopefully, one day we will know. For now, I'll leave it here. Please let me know if you want me to explore other conspiracy theories, and if you want to watch more of my content, please click on one of these videos. I'll see you next time.